I'm State Representative Cecil Bell Jr. And I was invited here today to speak a few minutes about how important it is that we as citizens take the time to interact with each other in our conversations and in our day-to-day lives. As a state representative, one of the things that's interesting about our philosophies in Texas, as opposed to, say, Washington, D.C., is we're in Washington, the Democrats sat on one side of the aisle, the Republicans sat on the other. In the Texas House of Representatives, we don't know who we're going to sit beside. In my first session, I sat beside Scott Turner, one of the most conservative members of the Texas House of Representatives. Second session, same gentleman. This third session, this most recent session, I sat beside Jarvis Johnson, a Democrat from Houston, Texas, who replaced Sylvester Turner, now the mayor of Houston, Texas. The interesting aspect about that is as you sit beside those individuals and you work through the challenges that are coming before the House of Representatives, those issues that will impact each of us as Texans in our day-to-day lives, you also have the same conversations about your day-to-day life, about your family, about your faith, about the fact that as Americans we have a right to hold different opinions. We also have an obligation to respect the opinions of others. It's important that we be strong enough principally that we hold our own values to be sacred and in place, but it's also equally important that we interact and we recognize that at the end of November the 6th, when all the voting is done, I am, as I said, the incumbent state representative. I am running for re-election. At the end of November the 6th, if I'm fortunate enough and blessed enough for you guys to elect me, then all those folks who voted, whether they voted Democrat or whether they voted Republican, will have a brand new label. That is the label of constituent. No longer do you get to look at those individuals and say, well, you didn't support me here or you didn't support me there. What you have to do as state representative is you have to sit and visit and listen and take those inputs from across the broad spectrum of individuals. Now, you don't have the ability to elevate. We're a constitutional republic, and in a constitutional republic, representation does not equate to elevation, just representation. But respecting the fact that others have a different viewpoint is a very important side, and it's the reason that I think Texas has been so successful politically. It's the reason we're the last one into recessionary times. It's one of the reasons we're the first ones out. So as you guys think about the issues that are in front of you, just recognize this. It's the same type of conversations that we're having inside the Texas House of Representatives when very important, very challenging bills are in front of us. Doesn't mean because I sat beside Jarvis Johnson, Representative Johnson, that my views are affected by his views. It doesn't mean when I sat beside Scott Turner, former Representative Scott Turner, that affected how I was going to vote or what I was going to do. My principles and the will of the constituents who elected me set those issues. So as long as I have the Constitution and conviction to be able to hold my own values, my own principles in those conversations, and even if I can't, it's still essential that I recognize the constitutional right to free speech, the constitutional right to religious freedoms, the constitutional right to all those other issues that allow us to have a difference of opinion. So as you undertake this endeavor tonight, as you interview the different candidates that will come before you, just remember this. At the end of November the 6th, when all the voting is done, everybody who is not elected becomes a constituent. You have the same right to representation from the individual who is elected that every other person in the community has. So again, I applaud you for being here tonight. I wish you well. God bless you and God bless Texas.